Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a 2019 murder case is heading to court with the arrest of a man who was on the run for nearly 6 years. And the Breeders' Cup is returning to the Commonwealth in what many consider to be horse racing's Olympic equivalent.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee with you on this May 29th at 6:30 this morning. And Eric, it's been a foggy start to our Thursday, that's for sure. I know I'm not a fan of the fog, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't either.
Yeah, I'm not either. I want to go back to something that we just ran in the last half hour, Amelia, that tidy bot. Where do I get that?
I don't know. See, I wasn't a fan of the fact that it doesn't do the dishes. That's all I need.
See, I'm a firm believer in procrastination, putting everything off until tomorrow so I have a better day today. I need that robot in my life, and I'm not going to get it. Temperatures right now, as we head out the door, are in the upper 50s and low 60s. We're at 59 in Boonville, 61 Hazard, Whitesburg. Good morning to you. You're at 64, 59 in Clintwood, 59 in Wise, 63 in Jonesville. I wonder if we could program that thing to wash cars. Maybe. Oh, no. Satellite and radar right now. You can see right there that rain to the south and southwest of us near portions of Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Georgia. That's going to push its way just to the east. We'll get clipped by that a little bit today. It's when we get into Friday that our next best chance of rain and thunderstorm activity will start to ramp up. So we'll keep a stray shower or two in the forecast for today. Otherwise, mainly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-70s. Coming up in the next check of weather, we'll go beyond the 7-day and take a look at the 8 to 14 day, and that's coming up in a few minutes. Amelia.
A man who police say has been on the run for nearly 6 years was recently arrested and appeared in court yesterday. Arraigned for the role investigators say he played in a 2019 Pike County murder. WYMT's Buddy Forbes was in the courtroom and has the latest.
Charles Ray Levens appeared in court Wednesday, arraigned for a Pike County murder that took place nearly 6 years ago.
On July the 6th of 2019, Adrian Smith was shot and killed in a small park, South Williamson on, I think, Riverside Drive.
Investigators say Levens quickly became a suspect in the crime, but disappeared before the case could move forward.
For the next 6 years, basically, law enforcement have been looking for him. He's been on the run since the shooting in July of 2019.
Records say Levens was convicted of second-degree murder in West Virginia in 2009 for the shooting death of Travis Huff and was released on parole in 2019, not long before the shooting death of Adrian Smith. The U.S. Marshals Service says its members located and eventually arrested Levens in South Carolina, saying he tried to flee but fell and broke his leg in the process and was taken into custody on March 31st, leading up to his arraignment on Wednesday.
The indictment charged Charles Ray Levens with murder, and with possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, and with persistent felony offender in the second degree. And they charged Demetra Smith with complicity to murder also, and complicity with his brother, Charles Ray Levens.
Commonwealth's attorney Bill Sloan asked for a $1 million bond to keep Levens in custody, saying his history makes him a flight risk and a threat to the public.
We're glad we finally got him into custody. And the U.S. Marshal Service did a great job. They stayed on this case for a very long time. And we think that the public is much safer with Levens in jail.
Judge Eddie Coleman followed the Commonwealth's recommendation, and Levens returned to the Pike County Detention Center. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, Levens is expected to return to court in August for a preliminary hearing. A Floyd County teen was indicted for attempted murder following a shooting in Pike County in October. Police say 18-year-old Brandon Poston of Allen is responsible for a shooting that happened at the Pikeville parking garage in October last year. Reports say Poston shot and seriously injured one person and put others in danger, and he's charged with criminal attempt to commit murder, assault, and 2 counts of wanton endangerment.
We've been waiting for the indictment to be signed. The indictment was granted last week, and we were just waiting on signatures on the warrants to be able to go and pick him up.
He was taken to the Pike County Detention Center. Two men pleaded guilty in connection to another Pike County murder after they were arrested back in December. Curtis Jones and James Phillips were in court yesterday in connection with the death of Timothy Justice. Jones was answering to multiple charges, including murder, while Phillips was charged with burglary. A 30-year concurrent sentence was recommended for Jones, while 15 years was recommended for Phillips. They're expected to be sentenced on June 27th. The Stephen Lawson trial resumed in Bowling Green yesterday. Lauren Hardin, a woman whose mother was married to Stephen, took the stand. She also lived next door to them in 2015. Part of the case against Stephen Lawson and suspect Brooks Houck involves a 13-second phone call made from Stephen to Brooks around midnight on July 3rd, the last day Crystal Rogers was seen alive. Stephen told police he was calling Brooks to ask about a rental property for his daughter, Lauren. State police continue to look for a suspect in connection with the Jackson County murder case. Troopers say 40-year-old James Carmack of Estill County died from a fatal gunshot wound. He was found dead inside a vehicle on May 18th in McKee. Troopers say the suspect left the scene before they arrived. If anybody has information about the case, you're asked to contact Richmond KSP at 859-623-2404. An attempted murder suspect from Knoxville was arrested in Mississippi. The police department says 21-year-old Ethan Johnston was traveling by Greyhound bus when he was found by U.S. Marshals. He's accused of assaulting a young woman early Saturday morning in an apartment near the University of Tennessee campus. They say the woman has significant injuries to her head and neck. He's charged with second-degree attempted murder. President Donald Trump signed pardons yesterday for reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley. The couple was serving out their sentences for bank fraud and tax evasion in Florida and Kentucky, respectively. The pardon ended Todd Chrisley's sentence 10 years early and Julie Chrisley's sentence 5 years early. Now we hear from Chrisley's attorney following their release from prison.
Issue here was it's very clear the case would have never happened if they were not celebrities. And I think that sort of targeting based on who you are publicly is what this president's made very clear he doesn't want to condone.
At the White House yesterday, President Trump indicated he was looking into more pardons. He said he was, quote, going to look at pardoning the men convicted of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020. An attorney representing a circuit judge is asking for a delay in a federal trial. The attorney for Howard Keith Hall is seeking for the court to push back the trial because he claims that the case involves several hundred gigabytes of discovery amounting to several million pages of data. In the motion, the attorney claims it would be impossible for counsel to prepare for the trial by July 14th. Hall was indicted on mail fraud and theft of government fund charges last month. In Whitley County, a couple was sentenced to 15 years in prison for child abuse and assault. Joseph Reed and Kayla Matlock were convicted in the case. The indictment says the couple engaged in conduct which created a grave risk of death to children in the home. The indictment also included charges of wantonly abusing the children. The indictment says the reported incidences happened between January 1st, 2023 and July 19th, 2023. We do have an update on a story we brought to you on Tuesday. We now know the name of the man killed in a deadly UTV crash in Boyd County. 49-year-old Robert McCalvin of Cattlesburg was pronounced dead at the scene by the coroner's office. This crash happened Monday when the UTV rolled over in a field off State Route 854 in the Rush area. Another man was involved in the crash and he was flown to a trauma center. The horse capital of the world will host the 2026 Breeders' Cup as the event returns to Keeland in Lexington. Well, if you're not familiar with the significance of the Breeders' Cup, officials equate it to a combination of the Olympics and the Super Bowl. Around 200 of the best thoroughbreds from around the country and the world will be at the two-day race event. 2022 was the last time the big races came to Keeland.
Keeland's such a special place. It's such an important place for the community. It's an iconic track.
The last time the Breeders' Cup came to town, race fans brought in an estimated $81 million into the local economy. Belmont Park in New York will host the Breeders' Cup in 2027.
Current time is now 6:39. Yesterday made it to 75 after a morning start of 64, 78, and 58. is where we should be for this time of year. 50s and 60s right now. As you head out the door, that pesky fog is still in play. You can see we're staying mainly cloudy here on the satellite and radar. Rain chances are staying to the south and west of us. If you have plans to get the kiddos ready for the bus stop off to school, 63 degrees with dense fog in the forecast. By the time they are on their way home, we'll see temperatures in the mid 70s with mainly cloudy skies. Current time is 6:39. We'll be back in a few minutes.